What is going on, you guys? It is Phoenix the Boss, and I'll be bringing you guys today my first episode of Go Battle League Struggles, where I'm going to go ahead and show a set that I did in the Retro Cup that came out this week. I'm utilizing a team that I've been running primarily of Munslax in the front with Froslass as a safe swap and Mew in the back. I'm going to be going over 10 battles where I went 8-2 in the course of these battles. So let me just jump right into the commentary. As you see, I have Munchlax on the lead against Blastoise, and Munslax is just launching off these body slams. It gets to the body slam with lick damage actually pretty quick, so I figure with people running ghost type Pokemon, it'll be a good lead to have. But as you can see, I'm trying to establish switch, so I launched another body slam, was able to take them down, and they come up with a Abomasnow. Now, Abomasnow, especially in the lead, is not great for this team, but I'm able to make the necessary plays, call the baits correctly. They did overfarm. I think they were going for either a double on the weather ball, so I was able to get an avalanche. They did not shield it, so I'm calling the potential energy ball, and it's just a weather ball. So at this point, I can go ahead and live with the double weather ball spam. Tried to farm down. I wasn't able to do so. They switched out, but then they bring in the drift blim, so I'm going to pressure it with an avalanche. It does shield, so I go ahead and swap into my Mew just to start to get ahead on energy. I don't want to get hit with a potential Shadow Ball here. It's just an Icy Wind. I'm fine with that. I know that I was 2 Shadow Claws away from an Ice Beam, and go ahead and hit this thing with the Ice Beam, and Mew is able to farm down. That's going to be a GG's to my opponent. Very good game, very well played. So coming into my second match, we have Munchlax on the lead against Mantine. Really don't know what to think of this. I mean, they'll probably try to go more Bubble Beam than anything else. So Bubble Beam's not going to do a lot to Munchlax, even though it does lower the attack, but it still does a pretty decent amount with the body slams. And the lick damage is really chunking this thing. Now, they overfarmed a little bit on Bubble, so I believe that they were going for an Ice Beam. No need to, at this point, double Bubble Beam this thing. So, yes, they hit me with the Ice Beam, and I'm able to completely farm this thing down, so I have a lot of loaded energy. I'm going to come in with Altaria. So, at this point, no need for me to switch or anything like that, and I was able to get a shield, which, you know, that shield was coming on an already debuffed Munchlax, so that was a bad play by the opponent. Then I go into Froslass, they switch into Mew, I'm bringing in my own Mew, and they go Wild Charge, so this is good because now I can go with the attack boosting Flame Charge, and their defenses are lower, so these Shadow Claws are going to absolutely shred this Mew. So I am going to be investing double shields here. They do come with another Wild Charge. All shields are down. They come in with Altaria, and this is a boosted Ice Beam. So this thing is about to get beamed. One shot to Altaria, and that's going to be a GG's. Well played to my opponent. So, third battle here, we have Munchlax into Abomasnow. So this is not the greatest thing in the world, but I have to keep Munchlax in here to essentially do as much damage as it possibly can. Munchlax can take a couple of these attacks from Abomasnow. They're going to go ahead and hit me with, I think, a Weather Ball here. Yes, going for a Weather Ball, and they double down on the Weather Ball. So now I know the thing is going to be energy drained. Get to another body slam, so this is going to either pressure the shield or is going to cause them to lose switch. They do shield it, and at this point I can go ahead and let the Munchlax go down, but I started thinking to myself, I need a potential meat shield or a third shield in Munchlax that can be a safe swap. So they go ahead and go into a Snarl Mew. They're already up to their attack. I believe it's a Flame Charge. Okay, so they're boosting their attack. They're a good man of culture. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this Avalanche. I was able to get the final shield, and I just load up a little bit. Hit this thing with the Shadow Ball. That's going to one-shot every time. I know I don't need to shield. They only had enough energy for a Weather Ball, so I'm going to go ahead and let them go with the double. Hit me with the Weather Ball. I come in with the Mew onto their Hitmonchan. So this is essentially a GG's, but I tried to get fancy here at the end. I didn't know the moveset of Hitmonchan, so I go ahead and hit this thing with the Flame Charge, I tried to catch something. I don't know what they were potentially going for because they were countering up a little bit. But I tried to catch it on my Munchlax. Didn't work. Thunder Punch came through, and I was just able to Shadow Claw this thing down. Shadow Claw the Abomasnow. That's going to be a GG's to my opponent. Very well played. All right. Next battle. Raichu into Munchlax. So gotta play this correctly because I know Raichu has access to Brick Break. I don't think it's going to do enough, and they hit me with Wild Charge, so then they come up with Talonflame. So I'm already building up energy, and I go ahead and hit this thing with a Body Slam, and it shields. Probably from the fact that they think that I could have been going for Hyper Beam. Body Slam wouldn't have did enough. I come in with the Mew, and they hit me with the Flame Charge. I have to at least shield this because I got to either A, get the last shield off of the Talonflame, or I have to get considerable damage on it. I go for my own Flame Charge. They blocked it. I was able to get the last shield. I come in with Munchlax here. I know I have loaded energy, so I throw a Body Slam immediately. I don't think it's going to be enough to KO, but it's going to be within lick range. So yeah, I go ahead and let this last Flame Charge go through, and then I just bring out my Froslass, and Froslass should be able to clean up here depending on what they have in the back. So I know this Raichu has Wild Charge. I'm going to go ahead and shield this Wild Charge, and they come in with a Gyarados, so this is great. Avalanche is going to do a ton of damage to this Gyarados. Nearly one-shots it, and at this point I know that was too fast to be a crunch. They only got the Aqua Tail off, not enough in order to completely KO. Farm that thing down, then I come in with the Shadow Ball. This is going to one-shot Raichu. That's going to be a GG's to my opponent. Very well played. That battle was a lot closer than I thought that it was going to be. All right, so here's the fifth battle, and this is one that I know that I lost, and I made a ton of mistakes here. Mistake number one, they swapped from Froslass into Pelipper. I'm building up more and more energy to start spamming Body Slams. The real mistake here was not swapping into Froslass immediately. So I am launching these Body Slams off, and they're going to get another Weather Ball off. Mistake number two was shielding, because Munchlax would have survived that. I didn't know the team as well then that I do now, but Munchlax would have survived that. So I come in with the Froslass just a wee bit late. Gonna go ahead and take this. I knew they were energy drained, so they didn't have a Hurricane, and they come in with their own Froslass. Just gonna go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball. No need to bait this at all. It would have been a good idea to bait it, because at least I would have had some energy saved up. They hit me with the Avalanche. I know that they are down on shield, so I'm going to come in with Mew. Start getting ahead on energy. I know I'll be able to get to this Flame Charge in order to make these Shadow Claws matter a little bit more. They go for the Avalanche, and I tried to catch on a move that I thought that they had, but I wasn't counting their energy correctly. So now I lose Munchlax, and I don't know, this is a super bad play on my end. They come in with the Hypno, and they catch on a Flame Charge, which I should have remembered that the Pelipper was in the back. If I would have been able to at least hold on to that Flame Charge, I could have KO'd this Hypno. They played it better than I did. I played that horribly. There were like 3 or 4 clear mistakes that I made, so GG's to my opponent. All right, so here's the sixth battle. They start off with Drift Blim into my Munchlax, and they switch into a Jellicent. So there's really no need for me to make a move, because Mew is going to be weak against Jellicent. The Hexes aren't really doing jack to this Munchlax. So I'm just going to start spamming Body Slams here. Try to bait them with a potential Bulldoze, but they know that the Jellicent can take the Bulldoze, so I don't think they really find any value in... I don't think they're finding any real value in shielding here. So I'm just going to start launching Body Slams, get a little bit more lick damage, and I'm throwing another Body Slam here. It's not enough to KO, but I was able to lick it down. I know that didn't sound right, but that's just what it was. And then they come in with the Machamp. Not a Shadow Machamp. I've been seeing a ton of those. So I come in with the Mew because it's resisting these counters. Now, they farmed up a bit. I'm aware that Machamp knows payback, so I shielded thinking that it was potential payback or Rock Slide that was coming through. Go for the flame charge, was able to get the shield, and at this point I'm thinking, well, I can survive a rock slide or a cross chop. It's just a cross chop bait, so gonna let that go through. Go for another flame charge as he's gonna get the final shield or take it out. Do get the last shield off of the Machamp, and I'm gonna let this last cross chop go through, and I can shadow claw this thing down. They swap back into the Driplim. I come in with Froslass. They know that this is a losing battle. Opponent surrenders. Good game to them. Very well played. All right, so here's another battle that I had, and I think that this one may have been a loss. I'm not 100% sure. So I have Munslax into Dragonair, which this is the bane of my existence. And the one way I know that the Dragonairs play this is that they don't immediately go for Aqua Tails when they have it available. They'll start to farm up a little bit because Dragon Breath does a ton. First mistake here, should have just went on ahead and let the Munchlax go. Second mistake is I accidentally clicked on a body slam where I could have just licked this thing down, and then they come in with an Electrode, and I already knew that it was a GG's there. Electrode has access to foul play. Both of my Pokemon in the back are weak to foul play, so it's pretty much academic at this point. I'm just trying to go out on my shield thinking that maybe I can swing a miracle, bring in Mew. I'm going to get hit with this foul play. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it's just a matter of, am I able to take this thing out and hope for a prayer? Not able to take it out, and then they come in with the Charizard with Flame or Fire Spin. I just had to get out of there. There was no sense in even waiting around. So good game to them. All right, so next opponent is Munchlax into Machamp. Terrible lead. I swap into Mew, and they swap in with Haunter. Now, it would have been worse if I would have swapped in with Froslass, so I'll take this simply because I'm able to rip off this Flame Charge. And these Shadow Claws are shredding me. So I'm going to go ahead and try to match their attack and get my damage up, and just 2 or 3 Shadow Claws later, Haunter is way down in health. So I'm going to wait for my switch clock to come up a little bit, and I'm going to go back into Munchlax. Lick this thing down without taking much damage, and they come in with the Machamp. I know that Munslax can survive a cross chop here, so I'm not going to shield it. I'm going to get off a body slam. Since this is a Shadow Machamp, it's super thin and it can't take the body slam. So I go ahead and get the last shield, bring in Froslass, start to overfarm a little bit on health. I'm going to go ahead and bait the potential rock slide here. Good call on my end, and I'm going to launch this Avalanche. So this is 1000% going to take it out. No need to hit all the bubbles. Undercharged it a bit. They come in with Driplim. I could have gone for Avalanche. Either Avalanche or Shadow Ball would have taken it out, but Shadow Ball, I believe, is the stronger attack. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this Driplim with the Shadow Ball. That's going to be a good battle on their end. Well played to my opponent. Next battle, Munchlax into the Shadow Dragonair. Again, the bane of my existence with this team, but I know the strategy. They're not going to immediately throw the Aqua Tail, so I can get to a body slam before they get to an Aqua Tail, and it's really their prerogative on if they want to shield or not. So learning from my last mistake from the previous battle, I'm not going to shield this. I'm actually just going to switch instead. So I switch, catch it off guard, and they come out with a Licky Licky after I feint the Dragonair. So Licky Licky has access to Shadow Ball, so I have to make sure that I'm looking out for that. But these lick damages are really, really adding up. So hit it with an Avalanche, go for the next Avalanche. My goal here is to get the shield, and I was able to get it. Kind of put them at a deficit. I'm calling a potential body slam, and it was. So I know that I have a chance to get off a second Avalanche, and I don't think that they want the Licky Licky to go down because it has a lot of loaded energy. So they go ahead and swap into, I believe that's a Cresselia. No, Medicham. They're running a Psycho Cut Medicham here. So just that alone kind of lets me know that I'm going to have a chance. So they kind of undercharge the power-up punch, and I know that this thing is strong enough to take out the Froslass. So no need to bring in the Froslass. I'm going to come in with Mew, and nothing that it can hit me with is going to do enough damage for me to be scared. Now I'm thinking that the thing may have Psycho Cut and Power Up Punch and Dynamic Punch, because it was already boosted. That would have been a good time in order to throw a Ice Punch or even a Psychic. So I feint that after a Flame Charge, come in with the Mew to Licky Licky. Again, I'm not sure what the energy count on Licky Licky is. I'm not taking any chances. So I go ahead and drain both shields, hit this thing with a flame charge and already boosted Mew. That's going to be a GG's. Well played to my opponent. And the last battle of the day is going to be Munchlax into Polytoe. Munslax is my only real response to water type Pokemon that I see in this meta, such as Swampert or Polytoad or anything like that. So I have to leave it in. It can spam these body slams about as fast as this thing can get to the the weather balls, but it's hitting a lot harder. So they're already hitting me with a second, and that takes a considerable amount of health away. And I know that from this health range, I can survive this. So I go ahead and hit this thing with a body slam, and they're probably going to be taking me out here. So I'm just going to go ahead and no, I don't. I switch into Mew, and I think that they were kind of caught off by that because they should have been at another weather ball. So bring in the Galvantula into my Mew, and at this point, I know that they're going to block these flame charge regardless. So my goal behind this is to counteract these lunges with the flame charge. That way my energy can either stay at normal or stay up one. So of course they're going to block this one again, and the goal behind this strategy is to get these Shadow Claws to absolutely shred this Galvantula in half. So they go for another lunge, and I'm building up. They go ahead and catch on their superior with a flame charge. Not going to matter because I'm already a little loaded on energy. So by the time they get to a frenzy plant or anything, I'm launching off this last flame charge. And already double boosted now, that's going to take it out. So I simultaneously KO with the Galvantula when it comes back. That's going to be a GG.